The massive ship appeared without warning. Silent and sleek, it slid into Earth's orbit like a shark through dark waters. NASA's deep space monitors detected it first, a blip that shouldn't exist, moving in ways that defied physics. Dr. William Carter stared at his computer screen, rubbing his tired eyes. It was 3:17 a.m. at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. He had stayed late analyzing unusual radiation patterns when the alert came through. "This can't be right," he muttered, fingers flying across the keyboard. The data confirmed what seemed impossible. An object nearly 2 miles long had entered Earth's orbit. It wasn't a meteor, satellite, or any known celestial body. Its movements were too precise, too deliberate. William's hand trembled as he reached for the phone. Within 30 minutes, the center's director and military officials crowded the monitoring room. "How many are there now?" asked General Patricia Winters, her voice tight. "7 distinct vessels confirmed," William replied, the largest centered over the Pacific. 6 smaller craft positioned equidistantly around Earth. Screens around the room showed grainy images of the vessels. Smooth, obsidian surfaces reflected starlight. No visible engines or windows. Nothing recognizable from human engineering. "Have they made any aggressive moves?" asked Director Frank Simmons. "None, sir. They've maintained stable orbits since arrival." Within hours, every major observatory and military installation tracked the visitors. Governments worldwide activated emergency protocols. Fighter jets scrambled. Nuclear submarines surfaced. World leaders retreated to secure locations. The streets of major cities emptied as news spread. Some people fled to rural areas. Others gathered in churches, mosques, and temples. Many simply stayed home, eyes glued to television screens. On the second day, they made contact. William was reviewing thermal readings when his computer screen flickered. Text appeared, simple and direct. "We come in peace. We are the Verith. We request dialogue." Similar messages appeared simultaneously on government and military systems worldwide. The message repeated in every major language. After heated debate, world leaders agreed to establish communication. William joined the hastily assembled First Contact Team at the United Nations. "Ask them what they want," ordered the Secretary General. William typed the question. The response came immediately. "We seek knowledge exchange. We offer healing. We request landing permission." For 3 days, communications continued. The Verith answered questions about their origins, capabilities, and intentions. They claimed to be explorers from a distant star system, traveling for centuries. When pressed about weapons, they responded, "We have defensive capabilities only. We have no interest in conflict." Trust built slowly. The Verith shared small technological insights as goodwill gestures, improved equations for solar energy conversion, a new approach to water purification. Finally, world leaders agreed to a controlled landing. The location: a remote section of Nevada desert, miles from the nearest town. On the 7th day, a smaller craft detached from the main vessel. Television cameras broadcasted worldwide as it descended through the atmosphere, a gleaming teardrop against the blue sky. Military forces surrounded the landing site, tanks, missile batteries, and thousands of troops. Fighter jets circled overhead. Snipers positioned on distant ridges. William joined the reception committee, along with diplomats, scientists, and military officials. They stood behind a hastily constructed barrier as the craft touched down, kicking up swirls of desert dust. For several minutes, nothing happened. The craft sat motionless, its surface shimmering like oil in sunlight. Then a section of the hull simply vanished, revealing an opening. A figure emerged, tall and slender, with silvery skin that caught the sunlight. Its movements were fluid, almost graceful. 4 arms extended from its torso. Its face featured large, multifaceted eyes that shifted colors like opals. It raised its upper arms in what seemed a universal gesture of peace. "I am Zira," it said in perfect English, voice melodic and calm. On behalf of the Verith Collective, I greet Earth. We have traveled far to find you. William stepped forward, heart pounding. Humanity's first extraterrestrial encounter had begun. The United Nations quickly established a secure compound around the landing site. Glass and steel buildings rose from the desert floor within days. The world watched as humans and aliens began the delicate dance of diplomacy. Lisa Morgan hadn't expected to become humanity's cultural ambassador. An anthropologist from the University of Michigan, she specialized in cross-cultural exchange. When the UN formed their first contact committee, her name came up. We need someone who understands how to bridge different worlds, the Secretary General had told her. Someone who can explain humanity to non-humans. Now she sat across from Zira in the main conference room. The alien's silvery skin rippled slightly with each breath. Two of Zira's four hands held a device that translated more complex concepts. Your species fascinates us, Zira said. You create art with no practical purpose. You tell stories about things that never happened. You dance. You sing. Why? Lisa smiled. These things have purpose, just not the kind you can measure easily. They help us understand ourselves and each other. Zira's eyes shifted to a deep blue, which Lisa had learned indicated interest. This is what we seek. Understanding beyond function. Over the next week, Lisa explained human culture while Zira described Verith society. The aliens were nomads, traveling between stars for thousands of years. Their ships were generations old, continuously upgraded and expanded. We have no home planet, Zira explained. It was destroyed long ago by a stellar event. We preserved our knowledge and continued our journey. In exchange for cultural artifacts and historical records, the Verith offered medical technology. Their healing devices could repair damaged tissue, cure certain cancers, and extend human lifespan by decades. Government representatives watched these exchanges with suspicion. Among them was Major Ryan Ellis of U.S. military intelligence. Tall and serious, with close-cropped hair, he observed every meeting from the back of the room. They're getting a lot more than they're giving, he told Lisa after one session. Art, music, literature, DNA samples, and we get some fancy Band-Aids. Their medical technology could save millions of lives, Lisa countered. Ryan shook his head. I don't trust them. Nobody travels across the galaxy just to appreciate Shakespeare. Despite these concerns, the exchange progressed. The Verith seemed especially interested in human creativity and adaptability. They studied everything from classical music to children's drawings, from epic poems to comic books. On the 15th day, Zira requested something unexpected. We wish to understand human emotions more deeply, the alien said. Would you permit a small group of us to live among humans, to experience your cities, your homes, your daily lives? The request sparked heated debate. Some saw it as an opportunity for deeper understanding. Others feared espionage or worse. After days of negotiation, a compromise emerged. 5 Verith representatives would visit major cities, accompanied by human guides and security. Their visits would be carefully structured and monitored. Lisa was assigned to accompany Zira to New York City. As they walked through Times Square, the alien's reaction surprised her. So much color and noise, Zira said, upper arms trembling slightly. How do you think amidst such chaos? We don't always, Lisa admitted, but the chaos inspires us too. Later, as they stood atop the Empire State Building, Zira grew quiet, looking out over the sprawling city. Your kind has accomplished much in a short time, the alien finally said. From simple tools to space travel in a few thousand years, it took the Verith 10 times longer. Is that why you're really here? Lisa asked. To study how we developed so quickly. Zira's skin shifted to a deeper silver, which Lisa hadn't seen before. We came seeking something we lost long ago, Zira replied. Something you have in abundance. And what's that? Hope, said Zira, all 4 eyes turning toward the setting sun. and the courage to imagine new possibilities. Major Ryan Ellis spread satellite photos across his desk. For 3 weeks, he had tracked Verith movements around their landing site. Something didn't add up. "Look here," he told his team, pointing to nighttime thermal images. "They're digging." Every night between 2 and 4 a.m., the images showed heat signatures moving in patterns away from the main compound. Similar activities appeared at 3 other locations across the Nevada desert. "What are they looking for?" asked Lieutenant Carol Rice. "That's what we need to find out," Ryan replied. While official exchanges continued, Ryan obtained permission to fly surveillance drones over Verith activities. The footage showed them extracting soil samples and placing them in containers that disappeared back into their ships. When questioned, Zira claimed they were studying Earth's geology. "We catalog the mineral composition of all worlds we visit," the alien explained. "Standard research protocol." The explanation satisfied most officials, but not Ryan. He began checking the specific locations of Verith excavations against geological surveys. "There's nothing special about these sites," the geologist he consulted said. "No rare minerals, no unusual formations." Meanwhile, Lisa Morgan made her own troubling discovery. During a cultural exchange, she noticed a Verith scientist collecting skin cells from human participants. The collection wasn't part of the approved protocol. She confronted Zira privately. "Your scientists are taking DNA samples without consent," she said. "That violates our agreement." Zira's skin paled slightly. "A misunderstanding. We study all biological aspects of planets we visit. You should have asked permission." "Yes, and oversight. It will not happen again." But the next day, Lisa found references to genetic sampling in Verith reports. The aliens had collected thousands of human DNA samples from various ethnic groups. They seemed particularly interested in certain genetic markers related to neurological development. Lisa shared her findings with Ryan. They met secretly at a diner 20 miles from the compound. "They're lying about something," Ryan said, stirring his coffee. "The question is what?" "I still believe they came peacefully," Lisa replied. "But they're definitely hiding their true purpose." Their conversation was interrupted by Dr. Alan Dawson, who approached their table. The molecular biologist had been analyzing Verith technology. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, sliding into the booth. His voice was low, intense. "I've discovered something concerning." Alan revealed that he had secretly analyzed residue from Verith equipment. Their technology isn't just advanced, it's specifically designed to interact with human biology. Their healing devices work only on Earth species. "That's impossible," Lisa said. "They've never been here before." "Unless they have," Ryan countered. "What if this isn't first contact at all?" The 3 agreed to investigate separately. Ryan would continue monitoring excavation sites. Lisa would review historical artifacts for any evidence of previous Verith visits. Alan would analyze more technology samples. 2 days later, they met again. Alan looked shaken. "I examined their communication devices," he said. "They contain proteins identical to human nerve cells. It's like they designed their technology to interface directly with our nervous systems." Ryan shared his discovery next. The excavation sites align perfectly with ancient Native American settlements, sites abandoned thousands of years ago. Lisa completed the puzzle. "I found these in historical records," she said, spreading photos on the table. Ancient cave paintings showed elongated figures with 4 arms. Sumerian tablets described sky visitors with shimmering skin. "They'd been here before," Ryan concluded. The next day, Lisa confronted Zira directly. The alien's eyes shifted to deep purple, a color she hadn't seen before. "You've visited Earth in the past," Lisa stated. "Why hide this from us?" After a long pause, Zira spoke. "Yes, we came to your world many times. The last visit was 4,000 years ago. Why did you leave?" "Disagreement among our people about interference. Some wished to guide your development. Others believed you should evolve naturally." Zira's lower hands trembled slightly. The non-interference faction won. Earth was designated a preserve. And now? Ryan asked, stepping forward from the doorway. Now we return to see what you have become, Zira replied, and to correct our mistake. Lisa and Ryan decided to investigate a remote Verith outpost. Satellite imagery showed unusual activity at a location 15 miles from the main compound. They borrowed an all-terrain vehicle and set out before dawn. If we're caught, we could jeopardize the entire diplomatic mission, Lisa said as they drove across the desert. Ryan kept his eyes on the horizon. If they're hiding something that threatens Earth, the mission is already compromised. They parked behind a ridge and continued on foot. The outpost consisted of a small silver dome with no visible entrance. No Verith were present outside. How do we get in? Lisa whispered. As if in response, a section of the dome's surface rippled, and an opening appeared. They exchanged glances, then cautiously entered. Inside, the air felt cooler and slightly denser. Soft blue light emanated from the walls. The chamber appeared empty except for a central pillar that pulsed with changing colors. Some kind of monitoring station. Ryan guessed, studying the pillar without touching it. Lisa noticed faint lines on the floor, forming patterns that resembled a map. As she stepped closer, part of the floor became transparent, revealing a chamber below. Ryan, look at this. The lower chamber contained hundreds of artifacts arranged in concentric circles. Ancient pottery, stone tools, weapons, and jewelry from various human civilizations. In the center stood something unexpected, a primitive human skeleton. This is a museum, Lisa whispered. They'd been collecting our artifacts for thousands of years. Ryan found a control panel that opened access to the lower level. They descended carefully. Lisa examined the artifacts, her anthropologist's training confirming their authenticity and age. Some of these pieces should be in museums. They'd been missing for centuries. Ryan studied the skeleton. Male, probably 30 to 40 years old when he died. But look at the skull. The skull had an unusual shape, with a slightly larger cranial capacity than modern humans. They heard a sound above and turned to see Zira descending to their level. The alien didn't seem surprised to find them there. You should have asked permission to enter, Zira said mildly. You should have disclosed this collection, Ryan countered. Zira moved to the skeleton. This was Karan, a human who chose to travel with us when we last departed Earth. He lived among the Verith for 20 years. You took humans from Earth? Lisa asked. Only volunteers. 12 came with us. Some returned to Earth with knowledge to share. Others, like Karen, stayed until death. You've been guiding our development, Ryan said accusingly. Zira's skin rippled, and what they had learned was the equivalent of a sigh. It is time for truth. Please, follow me. They returned to the surface, where Zira activated the central pillar. A holographic display appeared, showing Earth's history from a perspective they'd never seen. We discovered Earth 50,000 years ago, Zira explained. Your species showed unique potential. Some Verith wanted to accelerate your development. Others advocated observation only. The display showed Verith ships above ancient settlements. It showed genetic modifications, technological gifts, and teaching sessions. We helped construct some of your ancient monuments as navigational markers, Zira continued. We taught agriculture to some populations. We made adjustments to your genome to enhance cognitive functions. You played God with our species, Ryan said angrily. We believed we were helping, Zira replied. But conflict arose among our people. The faction opposing interference eventually prevailed. We departed Earth completely, designating your world a natural preserve to develop without our influence. And now you've returned. Why? Lisa asked. To see what you became on your own. And because we need your help. Zira's eyes turned a deep indigo. Despite our technology, the Verith face extinction. We've reached an evolutionary dead end. What does that mean? Ryan demanded. Our genetic diversity is insufficient. We can no longer adapt naturally. Zira gestured to the skeleton. Humans, however, adapt remarkably fast. You possess genetic traits we need to survive. So you came to harvest our DNA? Lisa asked. No, Zira said. We came to propose a merger of our species, a shared future. Together, we could achieve things neither could alone. The revelation about the Verith's true intentions divided Earth's leaders. Some viewed the aliens as dangerous manipulators. Others saw an opportunity for unprecedented advancement. After weeks of tense negotiation, a compromise emerged, a joint engineering project to demonstrate trust. Dr. Samantha Wells had never expected to lead humanity's most ambitious construction project. At 38, her work in bioengineering had earned respect but not fame. Now she stood before a mixed team of human and Verith engineers in a massive hangar built specifically for the project. The vessel will combine our technologies, she explained, pointing to holographic plans floating above the central table. Verith propulsion systems with Earth materials. Human interface designs with Verith computing. Zira moved forward, 4 arms gesturing to different parts of the display. This will be unlike any ship either of our species has created. A true hybrid, capable of journeys no existing vessel could attempt. Construction began immediately in the Nevada desert. The framework took shape quickly, a sleek hull nearly 500 feet long. But the most remarkable aspects weren't visible from outside. The internal systems are partially organic, Samantha explained to Major Ellis, who had been assigned as security liaison. Living tissue grown from modified cellular structures. Ryan watched workers install what looked like a network of veins throughout the ship's interior. You're building a living spacecraft. Not exactly living, Samantha corrected. More like responsive. The systems adapt to conditions and repair themselves. Ryan remained skeptical. Despite the project's promised benefits, he kept security tight. Armed guards monitored all activities. Every component underwent rigorous inspection before installation. The Verith contributed materials unlike anything Earth science had created. Metals that changed properties based on electrical currents, crystalline structures that stored and processed data like biological brains, transparent materials stronger than steel but lighter than aluminum. How does this interface connect to the main systems? Samantha asked one of the Verith engineers named Lorith. It responds to neural impulses, Lorith explained, demonstrating with 2 of his hands. The pilot thinks, and the ship responds. Like telepathy. More basic, the ship reads electrical patterns from the brain and translates them into commands. As construction progressed, tensions emerged between nations. Countries without direct involvement demanded access to the technology. Russia and China sent observers who clearly reported everything back to their governments. Everyone wants a piece of this, Ryan told Lisa over dinner in the compound cafeteria. If this ship works, it changes the balance of power on Earth. Lisa had been documenting the cultural aspects of the project. That's why it's critical that this remains an international effort. This technology belongs to all humanity. In the 3rd month of construction, Dr. Alan Dawson grew increasingly concerned. His tests on the ship's neural interface revealed something unexpected. The system doesn't just read brain signals, he told Samantha privately. It appears to write them as well. It could potentially influence the pilot's thoughts. Samantha confronted Zira with these findings. The alien skin darkened slightly. The interface is bidirectional by necessity, Zira admitted. For true symbiosis, communication must flow both ways. You should have disclosed this, Samantha said firmly. We feared misunderstanding. The system cannot control a pilot, only suggest optimizations. Despite these concerns, the project continued. As the vessel neared completion, something remarkable happened. The organic components began growing and integrating without guidance, extending neural networks throughout the structure. It's evolving on its own, Samantha reported to the Oversight Committee, adapting and improving beyond our designs. During the first systems test, Samantha volunteered to test the neural interface. She sat in the pilot's chair as technicians attached sensors to her temples. "Just basic diagnostics today," she told the observation team. "No actual commands." But when the system activated, Samantha gasped. Her eyes widened as information flooded her consciousness. She saw stars from perspectives impossible from Earth. She felt the ship responding to her thoughts before she fully formed them. "It's communicating with me," she whispered. "It's showing me places it wants to go." When the test ended, Samantha emerged shaken but exhilarated. "The ship isn't just a machine," she told Ryan and Lisa afterward. "It has purpose, intention." "That's not reassuring," Ryan replied. "Actually," Samantha said with unexpected certainty, "it is, because I felt its intentions. And they're beautiful." The ship neared completion as tensions grew. Nations not involved in the project demanded greater access. Security tightened around the compound. Samantha's team worked around the clock, integrating final systems and running diagnostics. No one noticed Dr. Alan Dawson's increasingly erratic behavior. The biologist spent long hours alone in his lab, running private tests on Verith technology. He spoke less at meetings. His eyes carried a haunted look. "The neural interface is more advanced than they admit," he told a small group of like-minded scientists. "It doesn't just communicate with the pilot, it changes them." His warnings fell on deaf ears. Project leaders were too focused on completion to investigate his claims. Military observers dismissed him as paranoid. On a clear Tuesday morning, Alan made his move. The explosion rocked the eastern section of the compound at 5:17 a.m. Alarms blared as smoke billowed from the research lab. Security personnel rushed toward the fire. Amid the chaos, few noticed Alan entering the ship with a small team of assistants. They carried equipment bags and moved with practiced efficiency. Ryan was first to spot them on security cameras. "We have unauthorized personnel boarding the vessel," he radioed to his team. "Lock down all exits." Inside the ship, Alan worked quickly, removing panels to access the neural interface core. "The Verith are lying to everyone," he told his assistants. "This technology will make humans subservient. We're taking it before they can activate it." Security forces surrounded the ship. Ryan ordered Alan to surrender, but received no response. When they forced entry 20 minutes later, they found 2 assistants unconscious and Alan gone, along with key components of the neural interface. The damage extended beyond the stolen technology. The explosion had breached the ship's organic sections. Fluid systems leaked. Neural pathways were severed. The project's completion now seemed months away. Then something unexpected happened. As technicians assessed the damage, the ship began repairing itself. Torn tissues reconnected. Damaged systems rerouted. Broken connections healed. "It's like watching an injured animal recover," Samantha told the emergency committee. "The organic components are adapting to compensate for the damage." Zira examined the self-healing process with what appeared to be surprise. "This exceeds expected capabilities. The integration is more complete than our projections suggested." Ryan confronted the alien privately. "You knew this would happen, didn't you? The ship is more alive than you told us." Zira's skin shifted through several colors before settling on a deep copper tone, a sign of reluctant admission. "The vessel was always intended to be partially sentient," Zira acknowledged. "But this level of autonomy was unexpected. It appears the combination of your genetic material with our technology has created something new." "What exactly have we built here?" Ryan demanded. "Something neither of our species fully understands yet," Zira replied. As the ship repaired itself, Samantha discovered something alarming. When she connected to the neural interface for diagnostics, she experienced intense visions and physical changes. Her brain scans showed unusual activity. Blood tests revealed altered cellular structures. "The ship is changing me," she told Lisa. "When I connect to it, I can feel parts of my DNA activating that were dormant before." "Is it dangerous?" Lisa asked. "Not dangerous. but permanent. Samantha looked at her hands, which occasionally showed a faint silver sheen similar to Verith's skin. "I'm becoming something different." The search for Alan intensified. Intelligence agencies tracked him to an abandoned mining facility in Colorado. When they raided the location, they found his research but not him. His notes revealed a disturbing theory. The Verith weren't saving humanity, but harvesting it. "The ship is not transportation," he had written. "It's transformation, a vehicle for genetic assimilation." Meanwhile, Samantha's connection to the ship deepened. She began to access memories that weren't her own. Stars seen from impossible distances, journeys across galaxies, and a desperate race against extinction. "The Verith aren't lying about their species dying," she told Ryan and Lisa, "but they haven't told us everything. Their homeworld wasn't destroyed by a stellar event. It was consumed by something they call the void, a force that devours entire star systems. And they brought this threat to Earth?" Ryan asked, alarmed. "No," Samantha said. "They fled from it, and now it's following them here." Global panic erupted when Samantha's revelation became public. Military forces from 17 nations surrounded the compound. Fighter jets patrolled the skies above. World leaders demanded the Verith depart Earth immediately. Inside the secure conference room, Zira faced the emergency council. The alien's skin had faded to a pale gray, a sign of extreme stress. "You brought an interstellar threat to our doorstep," accused the UN Secretary General. "You've endangered our entire planet." "We did not know the void would follow us here," Zira replied. "We believed we had escaped its detection." Samantha sat quietly, her appearance now noticeably changed. Silver patches marked her skin. Her eyes shifted colors like Verith eyes. The ship's neural connection had permanently altered her physiology. "How long do we have?" she asked. "Based on our long-range sensors, the void will reach your solar system in 17 days, Zira said. "When it arrives, it will consume everything." Ryan pounded the table. "Can it be stopped? Fought? Negotiated with?" "The void is not alive as we understand life," Zira explained. "It is a cosmic anomaly that breaks down matter at the subatomic level. 3 Verith worlds have already been lost to it." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity faced extinction with no means to prevent it. Lisa spoke up. "The ship we built, could it escape the void?" "Yes," Zira confirmed. "Its propulsion system can achieve speeds the void cannot match, but it can only carry a small fraction of your population." "So we build more ships," suggested a military general. "There is no time," Zira responded. "And your world lacks the necessary materials." While the council debated evacuation priorities, Samantha felt a sudden connection to the ship. Through their neural link, she received a stream of information, calculations, designs, and possibilities previously unconsidered. "The ship has a solution," she announced, interrupting the heated discussion. "It can't save everyone, but it can protect Earth." She described the plan. The ship could generate a defensive field around the planet by harnessing energy from the sun, but it required specific coordinates in deep space and a pilot completely integrated with the vessel's systems. "I'll pilot it," Samantha said. "The ship has already bonded with me." "It's suicide," Ryan protested. "You'd have to fly directly into the void." "Not into it. Around it. The ship believes it can create a diversion that will draw the void away from Earth's solar system." As they discussed the plan, an urgent alert came through. Alan Dawson had been located at a military base where he had convinced officials that the Verith technology he stole could be weaponized against the aliens. "He's building a device to destroy the Verith fleet," the intelligence officer reported. "He believes eliminating the Verith will make the void lose interest in Earth." "That's false," Zira exclaimed. "The void is drawn to the energy signatures of developed worlds. It would still come here." Ryan and Lisa volunteered to stop Alan while Samantha prepared the ship. As they traveled to the military base, Lisa questioned their journey. "What if Alan is right? She asked. "What if the Verith are manipulating us?" "I don't trust them completely," Ryan admitted. "But I trust what I've seen. The ship is real. The threat is real. And Samantha's connection is real." At the base, they found Alan standing before a device built from modified Verith technology. Its power source pulsed with increasing intensity. "This will save humanity," Alan insisted, eyes wild with conviction. "The Verith are the real threat. They've been manipulating our DNA for millennia, preparing us for harvest." "The void is coming, Alan," Lisa said calmly. "Destroying the Verith won't stop it. They brought it here. They're responsible." Ryan moved slowly toward the device. "Even if that's true, your weapon won't save Earth, but the ship might." After tense negotiation, Alan finally stood down. The weapon was disabled, but valuable time had been lost. When they returned to the compound, they found Samantha already aboard the ship. Her transformation had accelerated, her appearance now halfway between human and Verith. "The void has changed course," she told them through the communication system. "It's approaching faster than predicted. We must launch immediately." The Verith main fleet received an emergency transmission from their homeworld. Their civilization faced immediate extinction. "We must return to save who we can," Zira told the Council. "But we will leave the ship to help Earth." "You can't face the void alone," Samantha said. "And I can't operate the ship without assistance." The Council reached a difficult decision. A small team of humans would accompany Samantha on the mission. Volunteers would join the Verith to help both species survive. As the clock ticked down, humanity faced its most important choice: who would stay to face potential extinction, and who would journey into the unknown. The ship hummed with energy as final preparations completed. Outside, crowds gathered behind security barriers to witness humanity's most incredible moment. Some protesters held signs condemning the alien collaboration. Others prayed. Most simply watched in silent awe. Lisa checked her personal items one last time. A small bag containing family photos, a journal, and a handful of Earth soil. She would be leaving everything else behind. Having second thoughts, Ryan asked, joining her at the viewport. "A few hundred," she admitted with a weak smile, "but not enough to stay." 57 humans had volunteered for the mission. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and cultural experts, all chosen for skills that might help both species survive. They would divide between the ship and the Verith fleet. Dr. Alan Dawson stood among them, his presence controversial. After sabotaging the project, he'd been imprisoned, but Samantha had requested his release. "We need his understanding of Verith biology," she had insisted, "and he deserves a chance to make amends." Now Alan approached Lisa and Ryan. "I was wrong," he said simply. "Fear clouded my judgment." "You nearly doomed humanity," Ryan reminded him. "And now I'll help save it," Alan replied, "if you'll let me." The ship, now named Horizon by popular vote, had completed its metamorphosis. Its hull gleamed with a silvery blue light. The organic components had fully integrated with the mechanical systems, creating something neither human nor Verith technology could have achieved alone. Samantha hardly resembled her former self. Her transformation had progressed until she appeared more Verith than human. Her skin shimmered with metallic patterns. 4 slender arms had developed where 2 had been. Her eyes shifted colors with her emotions. "Final diagnostics show all systems operational," she announced, her voice carrying harmonics impossible for ordinary human vocal cords. "Neural pathways are fully integrated." President Harris addressed the world one last time from Washington. "Today marks not an ending, but a beginning. While some leave to protect us all, humanity stands united against the darkness. We face tomorrow with courage, whether here on Earth or among the stars." As departure time approached, Zira came to say goodbye. The alien leader would command the Verith fleet on its return journey. "Our peoples will forever be linked now," Zira told Lisa and Ryan. "What began as exploration has become salvation for both species. If we survive, Ryan said. When we survive, Zira corrected. The combined strength of our species has created something neither could achieve alone. The alien gestured toward Horizon. This vessel represents our shared future. The moment of departure arrived with little ceremony. 32 humans boarded the Verith ships, while 25 joined Samantha aboard Horizon. As the hatch sealed, Lisa took one last look at Earth through the viewport. The desert landscape, the distant mountains, the blue sky she would likely never see again. Initiating launch sequence, Samantha announced. Her 4 hands moved across control surfaces that responded to her touch like living tissue. Horizon rose silently, without flames or smoke. The propulsion system created no visible exhaust, only a slight distortion of light around the hull. It ascended rapidly, reaching orbit in minutes rather than the hours traditional rockets required. From space, Earth appeared peaceful, a blue marble hanging in the darkness. The crew watched their home world grow smaller as Horizon accelerated away. Preparing for deep space jump, Samantha said. Neural interface at maximum capacity. The Verith fleet positioned themselves nearby, their own drives powering up for departure. Communication channels remained open between the vessels. Trajectory locked, Samantha confirmed. We will intercept the void at coordinates Alpha 7, drawing it away from Earth's solar system. The Verith fleet will proceed to secondary coordinates to begin colonization preparations. Ryan took Lisa's hand as Horizon's engines reached full power. The stars outside began to stretch into lines of light. Will we ever come back? Lisa asked quietly. I don't know, Ryan answered honestly, but we're carrying Earth with us wherever we go.